What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Aviator Chris. Today we're going to talk about Microsoft Flight Simulator and multi-monitor support in the Sim Update 10 beta. Stick around. Alright guys, so let's get into it. So we're talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator, Sim Update 10, multi-monitor support. It's finally here. I've been waiting for it for a long time. I've actually just recently completed the SimPit build maybe about a month or two ago. And it was complete before Microsoft Flight Simulator released this update. And I knew it was coming, but I've been primarily flying an X-Plane 11 because it has really well put together multi-monitor support. It's supported really well, the performance is good, the whole gamut. But now we have Microsoft Flight Simulator, the beta. I have to say, I'm very impressed. I hope it gets better. There's a few bugs I found, which we'll get into in a second. But for the most part, it works really well. So we'll talk about performance really quick. Performance is, I'm getting on they're 355-inch TVs. This is actually Microsoft Flight Simulator now. The 355-inch TVs with the G1000 displays popped out and set up properly. I'm anywhere between the absolute lowest 25 FPS with the settings, I believe on somewhere in the high ballpark. Maybe there's a few things that I've tweaked a little bit here and there. And once you're cruising and you're not in any like third-party scenery or anything like that, I mean the FPS I think is somewhere in the ballpark of 40. It's been a while since I've checked. I kind of did it just really quick when I first set it up, and that was pretty much it. So performance is pretty good. Going through a 3D volumetric cloud, you know, entering IMC and coming out of IMC and cloud surfing and things like that with the three displays is just, it's phenomenal.
All right, guys, just to cover the settings here, we'll take a look at graphical settings first. This is basically what I'm running. Just gonna not go through everything, but I will just do kind of like a slow scroll so you can see. One thing to note is the off-screen terrain pre-caching. I lowered that because there's no head panning, which I believe is what that feature is mainly used for things that aren't being rendered in front of you. So I have that down to low, and that may be adding some performance. So here is the rest of the settings. Got motion blur off. Never really understood what lens correction does in this sim. I've never used it, but I just keep it off. And if you're looking for the multi-monitor mode settings, that's under experimental. Add new render window, comes up. See, again, for some reason, I kind of touch on this in the next segment, but for some reason, they come up as windowed mode, and I usually just delete them and re-add them as full screen because they're kind of doubled up, so I usually just delete them and re-add them. But that is pretty much my settings. I don't use any vertical or roll rotation offsets. I only use the lateral rotation offsets of -91 and +91 for each screen. So just to show you a little bit of what I see in the SimPit, this is just a little bit of the geometry. I don't know if you can really kind of see it here with the GoPro and the reflections on the screen, but we can kind of see that everything seems to line up pretty smooth, even as I kind of pan around here. Do a quick little demonstration of what the SimPit looks like, but we're going to do a more in-depth video on that where we go over like all the components and things like that in a future video.
All right, just to touch on some issues that I've been having, which is really just one, and it's not a deal breaker at all. I'm actually, again, pretty impressed with how well the Sim Update 10 beta has been working out. Performance-wise, I haven't had any crash to desktops, nothing like that. The only issue I've had, which may be a me issue with how my SimPit is configured, which we'll get into an in-depth review, walkthrough kind of the SimPit and the build and how it works and how it's all connected. But we'll get into that in a later video. But again, that may tie into the issue that I'm having. Occasionally when I start up Microsoft Flight Simulator, the left and right screens are reversed. So it looks like the plane is sitting backwards. The left view is actually out the right and vice versa. That's really the only issue. It takes me literally a minute to go into the settings, delete the two monitors, re-add them, and just fix the perspectives. I use a negative and positive 91, which accounts for the bezels and makes everything kind of line up and pan out really well with the 180-degree field of view. The reason I delete them is because it seems when I boot back into the sim, there's extra monitors. It looks like it shows 4 for some reason. It looks like it shows 2 windowed and 2 full screen. I just start over, I delete them, and it doesn't happen every time. It only happens a couple of times. So I don't think it's that big of an issue. I actually haven't filed a bug report yet. Shame on me. I'm going to. I probably should do that sooner than later before the beta expires, and then that bug is there. And again, this could just be a me issue with how my machine is seeing the monitors and stuff like that. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to get this video out. I know it's a little late. The Sim Update 10 beta has been out for probably around 2 weeks now. There's been a couple of updates to it. But for the most part, it's pretty solid, and I think it's a pretty promising future for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think, you know, I'm not one to be for or against either sim. I think X-Plane 11 is great at what it does. I think Microsoft Flight Simulator is great at what it does. I think it makes competition, and I think it only benefits us in the end. So thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one, and fly safe.